morning. We'll call the finance meeting to order. We'll start with our county clerk, Joe Provenza.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Overall, the office is doing well. We're up a little bit with deeds and mortgages over last year. We are bringing in some decent tax money to help with the budget. The DMV is doing very well also. We're about where we should be with revenue, and I guess overall we're doing well. We're recovering from the flood, and we're all back together. And I just respectfully request that you consider a resolution for the Mingo family and condolences. They lost their daughter a couple weeks ago, and then last week they lost their son. One was 50, one was 53. Thomas Grove.
Moved by Mr. Preston, unanimous second.
Second.
Okay. Anything else, Joe?
No, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Jim Mingo's son and daughter?
Yes.
From Sterling?
Yes.
John Mingo.
John Mingo.
John Mingo, yeah. And Jim was the son.
Yes.
Okay, any further questions for Joe? If not, thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Brenda's been excused, the treasurer, Mr. Diskin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll start out with our sales tax. I sent you our agenda items with a little summary of where we are. Since I sent this out, we got another check last Friday, so I just wanted to kind of bring you up to date with that. The second check of the month in September was off by about $80,000, so we lost about almost $89,000 over last year for the month of September. And month of August, excuse me, that's money, no, September, excuse me, right, September. So for the year, what we were down was about not quite 1%, a little under 1% for the year. So we're running pretty good sales tax-wise, better than I anticipated. And I took the time to contact NISAC to get some information on what's happening with gas taxes and motor fuel, because I want to see how that affected us. And it's interesting that over the first 6 months of the year, the way the state keeps track of it, in the first quarter, Essex County lost not quite $100,000 in motor fuels over last year. And in the second quarter, a little over $72,000. So for the year, we've lost $171,857, according to the state of New York, in motor fuel taxes. Yet, according to their estimates, we would be up in the rest of our money if it wasn't for motor fuel. The sales tax for the year, according to the state, would have been a plus $37,000. I'm sorry, down $37,000. So there would have been a net gain there of the $37,000, and 171 of it's motor fuel. We actually would be up by $134,000 if it wasn't for motor fuel. So overall, we're doing good in sales tax other than in motor fuel, and that's what's dragging our sales tax down.
But if you look at the overall
Right.
impact of motor fuel,
Right.
we're probably way ahead of the curve on savings.
We are,
In regards
absolutely.
to what we're paying
Yeah.
for fuel.
Exactly. If you look at what it's costing the county and so on, that offsets that. I just want to, just in sales tax numbers, that's where we were. And it's interesting that if you look at that, and you see that, then it's pretty obvious that the savings that are coming in motor fuel tax, those people are somewhere spending that money somewhere else in the county. So that they're traveling, or because they're saving money on fuel, they're spending it on other taxable items within the county. So we are seeing a benefit, and as Tom has indicated in the past, even though we're losing money on motor fuels, we're gaining it in other areas. So we're not doing that bad. You know, it's not, when you look at, we lost $171,000 in sales tax and motor fuels, a good share of that is made back up by people spending that money back into the economy. So I just wanted to, it's not as bad as it looks. Occupancy taxes, we continue to grow again. Last month we were up considerably. We were up almost 23% over last year, so we're starting to see the effect of those vacation rentals coming in. More and more people are reporting them. Our registrations have slowed down. I think we've gotten to the point where we've got a lot of people registered. I know Wayne continues to contact people. We do get calls every day from people who said they've been contacted by Wayne Taylor and are registering, but it has slowed down. However, a lot of people are now reporting their money, so we are seeing that increase. So for the year, we're up not quite $52,000, so we're starting to see money coming in from that occupancy.
And that website's reporting now, correct?
Yes, and that's the other part I want to talk to you about is that we just signed the contract with Airbnb. Effective October 1st, Airbnb will begin collecting as part of their collections when they rent. That will be on their program. They'll collect on behalf of the person who's renting. They'll be remitting it to us. The downside that we talked about is we're not going to know who it's coming from, but we are getting the money. And a lot of people have called and said, well, what do I do after October 1st? Because I'm paying, and I've told them, you pay me whatever you collected up until October 1st. After that, Airbnb is going to be sending it in for you. However, if you rent on your own, or you rent from somebody else besides Airbnb, like HomeAway or one of those other companies, VRBO, then you need to report it still because we're not getting money from them. So you need to do that on your own. Just the Airbnb portion you won't have to report yourself. So hopefully we'll start seeing more money probably in November for that money that they collect from Airbnb. And I think Airbnb is beginning to realize that they're getting in everybody's good graces and make it a little more palatable to people because they're getting into more and more counties in the state and around the country even. And they're even talking to a number of states about collecting the state sales tax portion as well if they're required to. I sent you my revenues and expenses and also cash flow. And now I need a resolution. It's the resolution we do every year for the re-levy of unpaid village and school taxes and, of course, the water and sewer and road tax and so on.
Moved by Mr. Politi. Is there a second? Mr. Morrow. Discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Just so for the benefit of anybody, the new supervisors, we re-levy this onto next year's taxes. So any village tax, school tax that gets unpaid, we reimburse the villages and schools 100%, and then we add it to the January tax bill. We also do the same thing with water and sewer bills. Fire districts, well, they're part of the town tax, yeah. For any town that has a garbage district, we do that. We do it for other road districts. Any district taxes that you have get re-levied onto the. Now, the only caveat on the only thing different on this that's separate from the others is with school taxes. We've always collected school taxes for a short period of time in November, so that if someone doesn't pay their school taxes by the time the school returns it, we give them about a 2-week window there to get another bite at the apple, so to speak. They can pay the county within that period, and then we re-levy it as of the end of the day on November 30th if they haven't paid us. So the village we do not, water and sewer we do not, we're not allowed to, but village we can, school we can, as long as we have a resolution. And as part of this resolution, when you see it in full, we'll include that word verbiage that says we will collect school taxes until November 30th.
Any questions on that? We already voted.
Yep. I think that's all I have. I do have just quickly one thing that I wanted to mention to you, or actually two things. First one, and I've talked with Dan Palmer about this. I put together a letter that I want to send out to the taxpayers who are delinquent for 12, 13, 14, and 15. I think we can, if we get a letter out to these people, let them know that we're possibly going to be speeding up this process, and hasn't been definite yet, but we anticipate doing that, and encourage them to get their tax. And I think it's going to serve a couple of purposes. Number one, it's going to let them know that we're serious about moving forward and getting these things done quicker. Number two, it's going to pointed out to people who may have forgotten that they pay taxes. One of the complaints I get from people is, well, you didn't tell me I owed it. We do put that little notice on the tax bill every year, but a lot of people don't pay attention to it. The third thing that'll happen from this is as we get these letters out and we start to get some of them back because they're undeliverable, we can start searching for a better address so that in the eventuality that we do a foreclosure and a mass foreclosure next year, we'll have a head start on locating some of these addresses. So I thought it would be advantageous to send out a letter to anybody that owes 12, 13, 14, and 15, letting them know what we're doing, that the board has indicated they're hoping to move forward with this, and just so people will hopefully pay it up rather than... And the other part is, one of the worst things you hear is, I wish I'd known I'd kept my name out of the paper. So hopefully if we tell them this, they'll pay it rather than have to see their name in the paper. I have that letter, and I'll probably start working on it this week. I'll work with IT to get labels and addresses, and we'll get it out within the next 2 weeks. Before I send it out, I'll make sure that you all see it so that you know what it says on it. When you start getting phone calls, you won't be saying what letter you're talking about. So I'll make sure you all see the letter before that if you start getting phone calls from anybody about it. And the last thing that I just got this morning, and I haven't really had time to analyze it, but the State Controller's Office just issued their fiscal stress managed, or what's it called, fiscal stress monitoring system report for Essex County, and we did very well again this year. We have no designation, which means that we're well within the parameters of where we're supposed to be. Actually, the lower your score, the better it is in these cases. And we're for financial stress, we are at 15.8%. Last year we were at 19.2%. The year before that at 25.8%. So you see we're lowering it, and that's good. We're lowering it. The environmental stress I have to look at because we took a pretty good jump. We were 5.8% last year and 25.8% this year. So I have to analyze that a little bit and see where we went with that. But Dan, I know, has a copy. It's probably sitting in his email right now. But just want to let you know that we're still in good shape as far as the State Controller's Office is concerned.
Mike, on the past due taxes, one of the questions that I get often, I just have to call you, but just a brief explanation. At what point are they beyond the point of return for the payment plan?
At the end of the first year, they have to, the payment plan, you have to make an installment agreement with the county by December 31st of the year that the tax comes out. So, and you can't owe any other years.
Can't owe any other year.
Right, so we'll use 2016, for instance. If you haven't paid your 2016 yet, but everything else in the past has been paid, you can do this up until December 31st. Once the 2017 comes out, you have more than 1 year owing, you can't do that. So the installment plan is good for the year that it comes out, as long as you have no other years owing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything further from Mike? Yes, Ron.
I just want to comment on the letter. I think it's an outstanding idea. Hopefully it'll encourage folks to come up and pay their taxes well in advance. I appreciate the effort, because I'm sure there's probably over 1,000 people that...
There's probably at this count about 1,200 people that might receive this letter. I think the other thing that hopefully it'll do, if we do move forward with the speeding up of the process of foreclosure, it may cut down on the number of properties we have to look at, which may cut down on the cost of doing that. So if we can get this out before we get into the process of doing these searches, if we speed that process up, it should cut down on that, because I think part of the agreement or part of the contract with them would be that we would notify them as we get payment so that they don't search those properties and get paid for something that doesn't need to be searched. So it could potentially be a savings in that if we go that route.
Are we bound by law to do certain procedures for foreclosures?
Yes.
Because the question that I've been hit with, and I read it myself in the Post-Star, Warren County seems to have a different set of rules and plans.
They do.
They meet with people that are behind 3 or 4 years. They set up payment plans for them. Some they work with, some they don't. Is that within the power of a Board of Supervisors? I'm not suggesting.
I don't know. Without reading the law, I don't know what policies they're falling under.
It certainly creates conversations with our constituents who read this.
Yeah, it's just that they seem very arbitrary in some of their decisions down there. I've read some of their stuff in the Post-Star, and some people, they say, oh, you take another 6 months, another guy, they turn them down.
Yeah.
Or they say, you only got 30 days, and I just think that's walking down a dangerous road for the board.
We all want to be on a payment plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm not suggesting we do that, but it's just when our constituents read that,
Sure.
obviously they're going to question us as to, how can they,
That would be, I don't know, that's a
scenario,
question.
why can they do it and you can't? So.
Yep.
All right. Anything further for Mike? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Dan Palmer?
I have a few things that came in this morning. The Housing Authority provided us with last month we passed a resolution to them in reference to a community block grant application. This one that's on your desk now is a similar one, but it's for countywide, and they're asking that you pass this resolution, which authorizes the submission of a community block grant application countywide.
Someone want to move that? Moved by Mr. Morrow, second by Mr. Gillen, Mr. Giordano. Giordano, whatever. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The other one that came in was North Country Community College got a hold of me that Josh Roberts, their new comptroller, has indicated that in his work with Albany, it's been uncovered or determined that there is $125,000 of Essex County capital project money that has not been utilized to date. So they're asking for, and the resolution is on your desk, they're asking for a resolution introducing to recognize local appropriations not utilized by North Country Community College is still funded to establish a capital project and obtain 50% state reimbursement. This is money we've already given them. They didn't spend it in previous years. They now are, in working with the state, have been told that they need another resolution from us authorizing them to use that $125,000 that we previously gave to them under the capital project portion of the budget.
Motion by Mr. Merrigan, second. Mr. Morrow, discussion. Do we know what they're using it for?
Well, it has to be used for capital projects improvements. I don't know specifically what they are. They haven't indicated that. I can certainly ask them that.
Not going into the welcoming center.
I have no idea.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The other item I just want to bring up that I provided you with the aging merger report, and just so you understand what happens next, we have to publish a notice in the paper, a legal notice indicating in all of our legal papers indicating the date of a hearing, the location, the time, and also indicating that if anybody wants to provide written comments, they can. Once I get that resolution or the public notice ready, I'll ask Judy to publish that, and then I would ask Mr. Farabee to establish a public hearing date. It has to be at least 21 days after the public hearing notice appears in the paper. So it would be at some point, October. Yeah, some point in October. So once I get that ready, I will copy you guys on it, and I will ask Mr. Farabee to establish a public hearing.
Has there been any consideration to having this hearing in different parts of the county?
There has not.
For whatever reason, this seems to be a controversial issue. Just throwing it out there. I guess nobody's catching it. So. All right, so I'm assuming we'll have the hearing here.
Yeah, it would be here.
Can we have Nancy or someone line up transportation for those that may want to attend? I mean, we'll take what we can on our bus.
I can certainly talk to Nancy.
If we're not using it to deliver meals for ACAP, we'll use our bus. So are you looking for a date now, Dan, or no?
No, I've got to get it prepared. And, you know, the date, you know, it's really triggered by my date that we can publish it in.
Right, okay.
So it has to be 21 days after the
Right.
publication date. A minimum of 21 days.
Anything else you need to bring up?
I don't think so.
Any questions for Dan? Everyone got a budget workshop schedule. I was asked by a couple of new supervisors, can anyone sit in on them? Yes, you can.
Anyone can sit
Anyone
in
can
on
sit in.
up to 9.
Up to 9. So if there's any here that you want to participate in, you're more than welcome to sit in.
Yeah, and if you do decide you want to sit in, just if you could let us know, then that way we could prepare whatever documents that we're going over so that you'll have those available during the course of the hearing.
Hey, Charlie Lewis, real property.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm seeking a resolution today to purchase a wide format printer from budgeted funds not to exceed $12,731.
Need a motion on that? Moved by Mr. Morrow, second by Mr. Politi. Mr. Giordano. Discussion. Being none, all in favor? All is carried.
Thank you. And then I have some informational items. We did have a Pictometry Connect class up at the Public Safety Building. We had 31 people attend. Some of your code officers did attend, your local assessors, and Soil and Water was there. It was very well attended and received. Everyone was very pleased. Anyone who is a user and was not able to attend, I did send them the user guide and the quick reference, and I believe I sent that to all of you as supervisors too. We did receive our final equalization rates. North Hudson had an outstanding rate complaint. They were unsuccessful, so other than North Hudson, everyone's at 100%, and North Hudson's at 113.36 for this coming tax roll.
It's your town property.
We tried, fellas, we tried.
They sure did. It was broadcast. It was broadcast on the internet, and we did watch. They sure did try. I was surprised when they weren't successful. At the end of August, we did print the 2016-17 school tax rolls for all 15 schools and got those to the collectors so they could be mailed out for September 1st. This is the last year of the property tax freeze credit. That program was for to be reimbursed for any increase in your tax bill from one year to the next. This is the last year of that program. That was for anyone who, it was your primary residence and your municipality stayed within the cap. You would receive the difference in the form of a check for any increase in your property tax. That's being replaced with the property tax relief credit program that starts this year. For, again, your school has to comply with the cap. You have to earn less than $275,000 and have received the basic or enhanced program. For upstate areas, it'll be a check for $185. Beware that if you receive a check for more than that, they are going to put those two checks together, and you should be receiving those. They're projecting sometime in October to send out those checks. And this is the first year for this school tax that they are transitioning STAR to a check. Anyone who is new to STAR and registered by July 1st should be receiving a check before the end of September to help them pay their school tax. If they registered after July 1st, they'll still receive a check, but they're just not guaranteeing them that they will be received by the end of September to help them pay their school tax with that. There's no deadline for STAR anymore, so any new homeowners should register right away with the state for a STAR exemption. Your assessors should have all the information in their offices, and there is a phone number for them to call for that registration program. And I did include phone numbers in your packet for the property tax or the tax relief credit numbers for taxpayers to call. Your assessors aren't going to be able to help them any longer.
So the 100 and whatever amount you said it was that people will be receiving, that is based on the school levy for 16, 17?
Yes.
And then the new STAR, you're saying instead of the old STAR where they get the exemption, now they're going to get, are they going to pay the full amount and then get a check?
Yes.
Okay. That's only for new registers.
That's right. If you currently have a STAR, you're not affected by that. Only if you move and want to apply in a new location. Right.
So is that ongoing? I mean, that will continue once you're in that program each year, or just
each year you will receive a check. Yes, but you only need to register once. And I just wanted to remind everybody, and I sent you an email with the omitted taxes that are going to be on your 2017 town and county, and you should be recording that as revenue, that amount, in line item 41003.
okay. Any questions? Anything else, Charlie?
Nope, that's it.
Any questions for real property? If not, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just one thing on the pictometry. We talked about the flyover, the cost of the flyover. We're due for a flyover. It's been 5 years or so. We have had discussion. One of the local utilities has expressed an interest in participating with us in the flyover to share some of the cost. We have contacted the other utility company to see if they would be interested in sharing in the cost so that we could, in fact, get the flyover done and maybe get the cost of it split 3 ways. So we're waiting to hear back from the other one. If, in fact, we were able to work something out, I would come back to you and see about getting the flyover done based upon that scenario. Essentially, that would mean that those utilities would have full access to the pictures for their purposes, which is, they have a significant need for them as well. And overall, it would lower our cost by doing it that way.
So this would update pictometry and also our GIS side?
Well, yeah, the pictometry is, the pictures are used in that GIS site, yeah.
Okay, anything further to come before finance? Not? Yes, I'm sorry, Mike.
Probably a dumb question, but is that anything that Air National Guard would ever do?
This is honestly, there's very few companies that actually do this and do it successfully. This requires some very sophisticated flying, not only flying, but also the camera equipment that's used is pretty sophisticated as well.
Well, they do have,
yeah, I know they do.
Since 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, but when I say sophisticated, what I'm really talking about is the software that plays into it. I mean, anybody can take pictures, but making that picture fit into a software program that allows you to pinpoint stuff within feet, on map. Yeah.
Okay, anything further to come before finance? If not, we stand adjourned.